She said hi.
Alright, welcome guys, welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? Alright, now up to the Club Theta stage is Miss Delaney Andrews.
Okay, so I was going to ask everybody how they're doing, but Chris already did, and I don't really care, so forget that. But like you said, my name is Delaney. I'm an English major and an art and philosophy double minor, so my parents haven't moved a damn thing out of my bedroom since I left. For those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name is Delaney, and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's a really, really pretty name, and I know that sounds cocky, but I do get it a lot. So people will be like, oh my gosh, your name's so pretty, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, no way, I hate it. Like, I'm not kidding, I think it sounds like gangrene. I've always, what the hell were they thinking, my parents? So, in 7th grade, I'm from a podunk town, so we had this biology project, and somehow it happened to be you had to Google what your name meant. No joke. So I go to look it up, and it means descendant of the Challenger. So I'm like, okay, that says absolutely nothing about me. I have a younger sister, so I'm like, okay, Mackenzie, let's Google your name. Hers means daughter of the wise leader. So we're sitting there like, descendant of the Challenger, daughter of the wise leader. Holy shit, my parents named us to give themselves compliments and to talk about how cool they are. So that kind of sucks. And then also I have a younger brother. His name is Griffin. That means Griffin. And that actually is a half eagle, half lion. So he's got a lot to live up to. And then also I have a younger sister named Grace. That means Grace, but then again, she was an accident, so I don't think my parents had a lot of time to really, think of something too embarrassing. And then it gets better, of course, the name thing. I'm a Catholic. That's not a joke. Do we have any other Catholics here? Woo! Oh, wonderful. Good, yes. Okay, so. Anyway, so I'm a very proud Catholic. I'm not a very good Catholic. So I was a freshman in college, actually, when I decided to get confirmed. So I go home for the weekend for this ceremony, and my godmother's here. She's my sponsor. And it's this, huge, massive, cavernous church, and, the bishop's there, and he's got the big hat and all this shit. So they push you up, right up to him, and they're supposed to say your name, I present to you, and then he imbues you with the Holy Spirit, rubs oil on your face, whatever. So I'm really excited, I'm really emotional. All these freshmen in high school, boys shorter than me, I'm like, what the hell, she's having fun. So my aunt pushes me up, right up to face this guy, and she goes, Bishop Boyer, I present to you Francis. I'm looking around what's going on? So he grabs my face, he's like, oh, Francis, I imbue you, and he's rubbing shit on me. I'm like, what the hell is Francis? So I'm going back, eyeballing my mom in the back pew, the ceremony's over, I'm totally out of it. And my mom's like, oh, let's take pictures, and I walk up, I'm like, Francis, and she's like, oh yeah, the saint, your saint's name, because you could have a saint's name, you're supposed to pick. And I go, Mom, my Francis. And she goes, oh, you love animals. I had a hamster once, died in about 6 months. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, patron saint of animals, Saint Francis of Assisi. Oh, wait a minute, Francis the dude? Not even Francis the chick. I'm stuck with Francis the guy. So I've been this has been stewing in my mind for a couple of years, and now it's my sister's turn. So I got to be her sponsor. So there's a rehearsal dinner the night before. And their little sheets are up on the table, the registration sheets. So all night, me and my sister were being like, oh, I need another breadstick, oh, I need more salad. And we'd be racing back to this table. And she'd be writing, her name, my name, and she'd just put Mackenzie Andrews. And I'd go back up there and I'd be writing down St. Agnes of the Recluses. And I was like, this is what her saint's name is going to be. So that was the problem. I tried to call her Agnes, but then my mom stopped in and she's like, you're embarrassed, I'm not going to embarrass her. So I lost the short end of the stick there. Anyways. So luckily here, I'm not Francis. If any of you start to call me that, I will kill you. But I'm Delaney. But this still kind of sucks. So freshman year, girls, you've all been here, so we go to parties and we love it, right? And the boys are all about it. So you see them from across the way and you give them a little sub and they come over and they're trying to tell you have a nice shirt or whatever. So the music's loud and he's a little drunk and he's just like, hey, what's your name? And I'm just like, oh, well, my name's Delaney. And he goes, what? And I'm just like, Delaney. So he goes, you're like, oh, this is Delaney. Nice to meet you. Can't find me on Facebook the next day. It's like a nightmare. So I know a couple girls who actually are like, oh, my name's Brittany. I hate the name Brittany. And I'm like, get over it, because if that guy hits on you, tomorrow Katie's going to call you Brittany, Lauren, Sarah, or Jessica. There's a 25% chance he's going to be right. And you're not going to know he's a douchebag for at least 4 more days. So I really wouldn't mind being in those. It kind of sucks. But speaking of fraternity boys, I know we have a couple here considering we're in a fraternity house basement, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so boys, we need to talk about the F word. Okay? 4 letters, 1 syllable. Any super seniors are like, what is she talking about? Yes. You got it. Frat, gentlemen. I know, right? All the hackles just went up. So when I got here, right, I'm a student, I'm chronically lazy, I'd rather order pizza than like cross the street to go to the dining hall. So I, at one point, was talking to my friend, so, you know, how's life in the frat? And he like jumped on me Rottweiler style. He's like, we're not a frat. Okay. He's like, we are a fraternity. And I'm like, cool. He's like, no, we are gentlemen, we do not go by frat. It's always fraternity, that is where our reputation comes from. And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I think you guys need to be a little bit more grateful because I'm in a sorority and we can't do that. Like, you know what happens when we try to do that? What up, chick? Want to join my SOAR? Like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, when you see that banner up in Kane, just like, come get all the information about all the SOARs on campus. It's really easy to get involved. You can be in one of your own. No, if we start doing that, our recruitment's going to go down the pooper. Like, no one's going to join. So, yeah, so we kind of have this issue, and it's always been a little beef of mine, and I'll try and get it in there every once in a while. So, how's the frat? And they're like, you know, looking over at me. So finally I asked one day my friend, I'm like, okay, so what's the big deal? Why do you guys hate frat so much as opposed to fraternity? And he's just like, oh, well, you know, it's got a stigma attached to it, the word frat. I'm like, oh, okay, so the word frat gives you your bad reputation. No, I'm pretty sure that's the bong that you've got screwed to the wall. I mean, when you're in a party, you know, and he's over here like shotgunning a beer, and I'm like, yeah, frat bro. He's like, excuse me. He throws the can on the ground. He's like, no, we are classy gentlemen of a fraternity. And he like burps in your face. Like, no, there's nothing classy about that. And then the other guy comes up and he's like, hey, if you met she's in a sorority. That's all I have for you.